Right, so the game by Brad, and here, yeah, I saw you tried attacking your opponent's king in the way we do against that perk defense or the Sicilian dragon. So basically, that 150 attack kind of idea. Let's see, e4, b6, d4, bishop b7, bishop d3, and you played f3, which is a very nice way of playing against this bishop on b7. And you make your intentions clear that you will be castling long and be playing h4, g4 attack on the king side. And yeah, so far so good. And here you played g4 and waited for your opponent to castle long and then bishop h6, which is a nice thing to do. And after h4 takes, knight c6. Yeah, very, very good play so far. Patiently waiting for opponent to castle, and then you can play bishop h6. Takes. Here you can even take with the knight and then reroute the knight to the king side and castle long, and then the knight would be used as an attacker. Also, you can take with the king, and the king is pretty safe behind the wall of pawns here, and you can trade material. And the king is, just excellently placed on e2, and it's not an open position that can be taken advantage of with the king being in the center. So you could have taken with the king as well. So yeah, the computer also dislikes queen takes d2 because queen's position is really, really nice on d2 and can be used immediately to play bishop h6. And yeah, here we also lose a pawn because the queen was protecting the pawn. So after queen f2, the knight drops back, and now queen back to d2. And after black castles, now you just you can play immediately bishop h6, h4 kind of h5 kind of idea. But long castles is also very good, just moving towards safety and then playing h5. And yeah, d6, bishop h6, and then takes. And okay, you went to defend this pawn on f3, which was not really required. You could have played f4 even. And there was no need to be worried about knight takes g4, because in many of these lines, as they open up, the h or g file, it is beneficial for us. For example, here we could just play h5 straight away, and if opponent takes it, we are happy with the opening of the both g and h file, and we can immediately play rook to g1 and then take this pawn. So we want the lines to be opened up. So f4 was a nice move to tempt black to take it. Of course, you will not be able to win every single game right away once you start playing a different kind of setup, but slowly you learn and pick up ideas. Like, okay, you get an intuitive sense that it is fine to give up the g pawn, the h pawn, open up the lines and attack, and when not to do that even. So you will learn slowly, basically, like in what situation what kind of ideas will work. But this game, I saw you played absolutely fantastic. You lost because of some other reason, so let's see what happened. So here f4, kicking the knight back, and just a pawn storm reaches black's doors. And okay, g5 was not like super necessary. You could have played rook h2, rook h1. That's a nice idea. King b1 is suggested by the computer. e5 is a good move. g5 is also fine, not bad, I guess. And after this, queen e3 takes, and this is where I would like to pause. Now, in this situation, we must see that what has happened in the game. We tried to attack black on the king side with that idea. Black did defend successfully, and we also made some inaccuracies, some slight mistakes, due to which the attack did not happen the way we wanted it to happen. So now in this position, we have to just make a new plan. Like, are we still going for the attack? Are we still trying to checkmate? Or we are just looking for new imbalances and trying to strategize in a newer way? So obviously here we have already run out of many options. We have lost a lot of pieces. We are left with very few pieces, and generating a checkmating attack against black's king with these few pieces, and also black's pieces already developed and are active, it does not seem possible. If black's pieces were like undeveloped, the rook would have been still on a8 and the knight on b8, and we could take advantage of the lack of development of black's pieces and still go for the attack. But here their pieces are also well placed, and we cannot force an attack out of this. So we cannot create something out of nothing here. So we must look for the imbalances as they change during the game. And here you violated one of the very key principles. Once you move the rook back to f1, you gave up the control of the h file. Also, this is a golden rule. I will show this to you maybe in the next session. I read this in a in the book of that Legends of Strategy, what it's called. I think I showed you in one of the games. The author mentions this golden rule, that if there is only one open file on the board, then the side who controls the open file is having the advantage in most scenarios. That's a golden rule. So here, that's the only open file on the board, H file, and we cannot just give up the control of it. We must fight for the control of it, at least try to win it or just contest it at the very least. So here, rook takes, king takes, and then you can at least win the control of the open file with some queen check, like takes, takes, and then queen h3 check. And this is the least you can do. And also there is f5 and trying to open up the position on the king side, which is a nice idea, but at least don't give up the control of the open file by moving the rook away. But because now it does give your opponents some infiltration ideas, like rook h2 followed by queen f8, queen h8, and then that's basically a tunnel or a route that your opponent can use to infiltrate into your position. So this was the first, I think, major mistake in the game. But opponent did not take like full advantage of it and played e5, and after takes, queen takes. I mean, here it's okay what you were doing, just trying to play some quick moves, and you were doing pretty well on the clock as well. After this position, when you just neutralized to being like a completely, you traded everything to a completely winning position, having an extra piece. Yeah, just a winning position, and once your opponent gave this check, you tunnel vision that here you're just okay, it's not like completely winning because opponent does have some good chances with those two connected passed pawns, but here once he played this, you should have had great chances with queen e1. Again, that's an open file on the board. You don't want your opponent's queen to be coming through that route. You play queen e1 to seize control of the open file. And really, we are a little bit scared of these two pawns, but we must use the queen and the knight to at least win one of the pawns. For example, here opponent can go queen d7, and we take at least this pawn, so we also have created an outside passed pawn. So we don't really want to trade queens before we create an outside passer for ourselves, so at least we can make it a race. And at the right moment, we will sacrifice our knight for at least these two pawns and start pushing our own pawn, once the queens have already gotten traded, of course. But yeah, here a slight misplay. I think, yeah, you were again down on time, and Brad, the typical characteristic under the time pressure Brad. So I can see that. So we need to work on this, absolutely. And probably, yeah, work. We will work in our next session. We will especially focus on how to play non-panicky chess in time pressure, because yeah, this is just okay. I mean, if you had like 4 minutes or 5 minutes on the clock, I'm sure you would not have made that mistake. But this is, I think, you're by far the major, most critical weakness, that once you land under 3 minutes, you just are, I think, in a panic mode, and then you just don't see the right moves. I will do a little bit of research on this specific topic as well, like how to avoid this kind of situation and deal with this problem. And in the next session, we will definitely focus on how to play once you have less than 3 minutes, and we will practice exercises. I'll let you play against me, put you in a good position, but give you less time to exercise against me, and then we'll see what are the techniques, and you will hopefully get the sense of how to play in these kind of situations. Otherwise, you did play well, and I hope this weakness will also be eradicated from your game, and then you'll be just doing absolutely fantastic. So, yep,